eventually loads. Come on. We're hoping that we don't have any Wi-Fi issues today because Virgin Media seems to be ridiculously bad at the moment. So I'm just bringing up the chat while everyone joins. So I've actually made my buttercream in advance today, which, like the last live, is very unusual for me. And it's a 6-inch drip cake. I need a glass to get all my buttercream bagged up, so I'll be back in a minute. But yeah, we'll be getting started pretty quickly. So hi Verity, I'm actually on time for once. I can't remember what time it is that's best for you. Is it evenings or mornings? Because I know some people are usually on in the morning. I'm just getting all my piping bags. I need 4 because we've got 4 different colours. And I've run out of my little ones. I need to order some more. And I also need to do a massive cake box and board order, but Cake Decorating Co messed up my order, so I don't want to buy any more off of them until they've sorted that one out. But I keep forgetting to call them, so it is my own fault. But every time I think about calling them, it's like 6 p.m. and they're not gonna have their phone lines open at that time. Hi Denise, hi Susie. Right, I'm gonna cut these down because I don't need them this big. I'm just using the Amazon blue piping bags, and before anyone says it, I know I use a lot of piping bags, but it's just the damage of baking cakes is that I go through so many plastic piping bags. Evenings for me, usually I have about 100 kids. Well, 4, but feels like 100, so no leave during the day. To be fair, it's very rare that I do them during the day. I was thinking about doing it tomorrow morning just because I'm really, really tired and I've got the worst backache. But I wouldn't have been doing anything this evening if I hadn't gone live, so I feel like it was probably better that I did. Finally, I get on your live on time. It seems like everyone's on the live on time today. I was meant to be a little bit earlier, but as usual, I was not ready on time. I'm never ready on time. So yeah, it was because I was making the buttercream in advance. I was trying to be organised, and then I ended up being unorganised because it took me too long to make. So I'm just putting everything in piping bags before we get started. The photo of the cake in the thumbnail is the one that I'm aiming for. It's not my cake, by the way. But we're gonna aim for that. I've got different chocolates going on it, but that was the photo that we were aiming for, but we've just changed the colour scheme so that we're having light pink and light purple instead of like rainbow. Are you allowed to lick the mixer thing or will we get shut down by health and safety? Unfortunately, I don't think I can. Not that I would actually want to. I don't really like eating, like I eat my own cakes at my family's birthdays, but apart from that, I never eat any like leftovers of anything. And it sounds really bad, but most buttercream, if there is leftover, it either stays in the fridge and then I realise I'm not going to use it and it gets thrown away, or it gets thrown away straight away. So yeah, there is a little bit of wastage, but unfortunately I'm just not that into eating my own like leftovers. There's like, when you're making cakes every day, it's like I do not want to then be eating them all the time as well. How much are the blue disposable bags plus postage? I don't pay postage because my parents have Amazon Prime and I sponge off of it. So I get free Prime delivery, so I don't pay anything for that. I think it's probably like £3 maybe if you don't have Prime. And I think they are like, what, $7.99 I think for 100, I don't know. But yeah, they're on Amazon. You just type in blue industrial like piping bags, something like that, and they come up. But yeah, there's loads of sellers on there. They're just whichever's the quickest, really. I don't like, everyone always asks me for links, but I just pick whichever's the quickest because I don't have the patience to wait for things to arrive. So whichever is going to get to me the soonest. You can post the mixer to me if you're not going to have it. Waste not, want not. The mixer? I can't send you the mixer, I need that. I mean, the other one in the background, I've got 2 mixers now, and I will admit that I don't really use the other one that much. But when I am busier, I use both mixers. It's just that on an average day, I can't be bothered to plug both in. Is this a single tier you're decorating? Yes, it is. I need some kind of towel because I'm getting buttercream all over my hands. Yeah, it's a single tier, like in the thumbnail. After the recent 2-tier, when that one was just stressing me out with the dowels, so I do not want to do one for like a week. I've got one next week, so I think I might have 2 next week because it's my niece's birthday party next week, and I'm doing 1 2-tier on the 18th, I think, which is like a mixed one, which you guys are going to love. It's the top tier is rugby themed and the bottom tier is poker themed. So there's like poker chips. We've got a fondant rugby player which is going on it. It's like really fancy. So that one will be really good. So I'll be able to show you that one. And it's lots of different things going on it, which I quite like. And then I think I got a message from my sister-in-law about my niece's cake, and I think she might be going for a 2-tier as well, and that's like a day later. So next weekend is going to be very busy. There's going to be a lot of lives next week because I've got those 2 cakes, and then I've also got one midweek, I think. So I think I've got 3 that weekend, but 2 of them are 2-tier, and then there's 1 during the week, I think. And I'm also working on a video that will go up on Tuesday, which is just like a admin, just vlog basically. But I'm hoping to get that edited for Tuesday if I'm not that busy. Hi Anne. I've never stacked a cake before. I plan to practice on my auntie's 96th birthday cake on the 19th. But I have taken on 2 orders this week, both 2-tiered. Now the anxiety is sky high. I mean, I would say watch that live that I did, but my stacking skills were not going well that day, so I wouldn't recommend that one. But if you, I think, watch the birthday live, like the actual original birthday cake, not the like recreating one, I think that one's got a better like stacking section in it, where I was stacking mine, so then I showed you how to do all the dowels. But I wouldn't worry, as long as you've sorted out your structure before you start baking, like, and you know what you're doing, then I think you'll be fine. But yeah, as long as it's stacked correctly, then you won't have any issues. The reason that people have issues with 2-tier cakes is because they don't stack it correctly, and then it falls over, or it just completely crushes under the weight. So I would say just make sure you know what you're doing in terms of all of your dowels before you even start. Please give me a tour, I think I'm reading that wrong, Verity. Please give me a tour top tips. A tour top tips? Am I reading that wrong? And a couple of Valium. I can't remember where you're from. You're not from England, are you, Verity? Because I don't think we have Valium here, or if we do, it's not like that easily accessible, I don't think. Right, get the cake out. Have you ever thought about making YouTube tutorials I'd definitely watch? What do you want to see? Because I can make it. You're in Gloucester. We have value in Gloucester, do we? I didn't know that. I need scissors. Sorry, my mind is going like 1,000 miles an hour. yeah, I could do YouTube tutorials. It's definitely something I could do. I just want to make sure that it's stuff that people actually want to know about and like that will be useful. So just let me know. Maybe send me a message on Instagram and tell me what you want me to do tutorials on. I am hoping to do some kind of like teaching kind of tutorials where they're a bit more in depth, but I'm not sure that will be on YouTube. That might be like a website extra. What is your streaming setup, Amy? It's nowhere near as good as yours, Max. Like, shocking. It's my phone plugged in because I don't know how to go live on anything other than my phone. So that's what we're using. And it's plugged in to the wall because it always dies. So you obviously, if you watch many of my lives, my phone usually dies or my iPad dies. So there's always something that is going wrong, or we have Wi-Fi issues. So yeah, it's not a great setup basically. So right, we're doing the, I need to move this down, but we're doing the darker shades first and then we'll do the lighter shades at the top. So I think we're going to go purple pink. I don't know. Purple pink, but like it was going to be dark. It was going to be the both of the darkest shades and then both the lightest, but I don't know if that will look weird. So I'm thinking maybe dark purple, dark pink, light pink. I think it might look weird if they're separated because it's meant to be like an ombre. I'd love to see just a basic stacking cake layer and smoothing edge tutorial. Okay, I can do that. What I'll do is when I have that cake next week, I'll do 2 lives for the 2-tier cakes because they're probably going to be way more interesting. And then the single tier cake I'll do as a little tutorial so that I can show you how to do it. I'm old school. I think the diazepam is a housewife's drug of choice these days. Again, I don't even know where you get diazepam, so that's very interesting to me because I mean I don't really take medication. Like even if I have a headache, I just don't take anything. I'm terrible, and then I sit there and moan about it all day. So I literally have no idea where you'd even buy this stuff. Like I assume a pharmacy, but still not like the black market, but still. Tips on growing your YouTube channel. Honestly, it can take a while. I've been on YouTube for like 2 years now, and I only actually started growing the past year. It really just depends on what content you're doing and also like how good it is basically, because if you're making videos that like no one is necessarily interested in or they're not good quality, then people aren't going to watch. So you've got to make sure that you've got something going for you, whether it's the quality of your videos and the topic or just your personality. I think most of the time my personality is kind of what got me through most of my videos. But I think a lot of people put out good content as well. But I think my content isn't that great, but I think people just like me. Whereas there are people that have really good content, but then their personality might lack a little bit. It just really depends. What's the maximum speed that you can spin that thing? I wouldn't dare spin this very fast because it would probably fall off. I'm only joking about the meds, but my nerves are definitely jangling. Verity, your vocabulary just makes me laugh so much because it's so random to me. I put these in blue piping bags and obviously I can't see what the colours are, so now I'm trying to work out which ones are which. So just bear with. Right, light purple, dark purple. Okay. I think you're like the only one, Max, that has that badges and emojis. Like I put it on there as a formality on my YouTube because it told me to add it. And I just added the merch designs, but I honestly don't think anyone uses it. So I hope you enjoy because they're just merch designs. They're nothing that special, but thank you anyway. Right. So I'm really conscious that I'm going to use the wrong one. Right, we're going in with dark purple first, and then we're going to go pink at the top. So You don't use a scraper or anything for this. Unless you're doing actual stripes, you literally just pipe it on the cake. So just make sure that they're even. So I'm doing 3, I think. Just trying to work out how much space I have. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 3. I think I missed the intro. What kind of cake are we making? Who's it for? It's for someone that orders loads of cakes off me. But it's for her little sister, and it's a rainbow drip cake, and it's basically just loaded with sweets. So I've got loads of different types of sweets to go on it. I couldn't find one of them though. I don't know if anyone else would know this, but where do you buy Parma violets? Because I couldn't find them, and I feel like I'm missing a trick there, because I thought that you'd just be able to get them in like Tesco's or a supermarket, but you can't. So, and it's Victoria sponge cake. So we've just got vanilla buttercream for the outside, and it's got jam in the middle. Right, now we're on to the pink. So we're gonna go dark pink and then light pink. Home Bargains. See, I don't have a Home Bargains near me, but everyone goes on about it for really good things. I need to see if there's one, even if it's like half an hour away. Diazepam is a relaxant only available from GPs. I'm a baking pharmacist, lol. What? What? I didn't get that, Jilly. I know you're a baker, but are you also a pharmacist on the side, or are you just taking the mic? Costco. I need to get a Costco membership. I've been talking about it for ages, and then I might actually be able to find out whether they have them. You get them in those sweet packets with the chalky lollipops, I swear. Oh my god, I didn't think of that. I was walking around Tesco's and I saw the lollipops, but I didn't think of that. Oh, that's a very good idea. Maybe I should have done that. Right, we're gonna do 4 in that one, and then we're gonna go to light pink, I think. Wilco's, that's another good suggestion. I mean, I'll know for future. I just couldn't get them for this cake. I know, I'm only joking, I promise. Are you sure? Verity works on the black market on the side, I think. I've seen them in B&M. That's another good suggestion. See, I just thought supermarket. I didn't think that I had to go to like the out of the box places. Right. We're just gonna do this last bit and then we'll smooth it out. Because it's being covered with a drip, I'm not gonna bother with the top that much. Like if there's any leftovers, then I will, but I don't usually bother if it's covered. Yes, I'm an actual pharmacist. Are you? I didn't know that. That's a really like fun fact, that you bake and you're also a pharmacist. Right. That is good enough. Do you use Swiss meringue buttercream? No, I always say this, but I don't feel the need to use anything other than American buttercream. American buttercream is so easy. It's easy to make and it's easy to use. So it's just like, why would I try something else if I don't need to? I've never tried Swiss meringue and I currently don't plan to, just because, like I say, American buttercream is easy and everyone likes it. Unless someone specifically asks for Swiss meringue, I wouldn't make it. The icing looks like the pink stuff from the Teletubbies. I don't know about you, but I haven't watched the Teletubbies for years, so I've got no idea what you're on about. We're the medical world's dream team then. You're a pharmacist, I'm an A&E sister, and we both bake. See, check you guys out. I feel like I need some kind of separate job because everyone's seems to be multitasking so much with their cakes. Right, just smooth it out. I'm using the Finch Bakery scraper as usual. Right. I think that's pretty much done. There's just a few little bits that I want to perfect. Right, done. Oh no, there is a little bit which I've spotted and that's annoying me. A little hole there. So don't bother joining the NHS, Amy, it's soul destroying. Well, I'd like you to know that we do appreciate you. We do appreciate the NHS on this channel. However, I don't think I could find the time, honestly, because I struggle with my current job and that's just this. So I don't know what I would do if I had anything else to do. So honestly, hats off to you guys because I don't know how you find the time. That's looking so pretty already, thank you. Where did I start? Okay. Yeah, there's just a little hole here, so I'm just covering that up basically. I think, so I need to decide where I want the front. I think we're gonna go with that for the front. And then I'll just move the top and then we'll put it in the fridge and we'll do the drip. This is going to be a very quick design by the looks of it. You're working right now and you're trying not to be distracted by delicious cake. Honestly, I don't know, it doesn't make me hungry at all, like decorating these. I think I've just got used to it. Where did you say the scraper's from? Finch Bakery. All of mine are from Finch Bakery. Yeah, let me... That's one of them. I got a stripe one, that's a curved one. Then I've got a large stripe and a, what's the other one? A scallop. So it's like the opposite of that. That's a bubble and then there's a scallop. So I've got 4 of theirs, but they're really, really good. I've got the warm fuzzies. Funny. The little glass of blue WKD I've treated myself to after a long week. Hardcore, eh? Honestly, last night, I don't know, I don't think I put it on my bacon one, but if you follow me on my normal, then you would have seen. But we went to that adult play area and honestly, it was the best thing. Like so much fun, I would definitely recommend. I think it's called KB 02 event hire. It's something like adult soft play or something in London. But imagine all the people that are over 18. Imagine a nightclub, but it's got a massive soft play area, an arcade, it's got dance machines, it has a bar, and like a little dance floor, and it was the best thing ever. It was so much fun. But yeah, so I also treated myself to quite a lot of alcohol last night, which is why I considered not doing the live this evening, because I'm still recovering, but we are here, so that's fine. Food always tastes better if someone else makes it because you're not smelling it whilst it's being made. Exactly. Like, I think because I make so many cakes, I just find it sickly. I just don't, it doesn't interest me at all. I very rarely eat sweet stuff. I eat a lot of crisps, but not anything sweet, just because it's too much. I think it's because we've tried to make so many cakes and very sweet buttercream, we just don't get as hungry unless we're trying a new flavour. Yeah, I mean, I always try and make a new flavour because it's just something interesting to like keep it interesting. But I think at the moment my favourite is salted caramel, and it's still my favourite. But like I say, I only eat my own cake if I am making it for a family birthday, and then obviously I have a slice. But unless I'm making it for someone else, I never eat any leftovers. Like, if there are any leftovers, like cupcakes and stuff, I just give them to my parents. I'm like, please get rid of these, because I just won't eat them. Which brand is your stand mixer? This one is a KitchenAid Artisan, which I would 1000% recommend. I absolutely love it. It makes a bit of a funny noise at the moment, so I need to call KitchenAid because it's like a hit and miss. Like, some of them make the noise, some of them don't, and I've had it for a year. So one, it shouldn't make the noise, but two, I've had it for a year, so it's not like I just bought it, which would be more worrying, I think. So yeah, I need to call them about that because it keeps making a noise. I'm always impressed by how quickly you smooth your buttercream. I seem to take ages filling holes. It's because mine doesn't have very many air bubbles in. So you'll find that a lot of the holes is because if you're mixing it for ages, then you're putting more air into it, and then you're going to put more bubbles in it, basically. So then when you smooth it out, those bubbles pop. So you want to avoid mixing it for too long. You mix your butter for ages. You can mix that for as long as you like, because that doesn't get air in it, or it doesn't do the same thing that it does when you've got icing sugar in there. And then as soon as you put the icing sugar in, you want to turn it off as soon as it's combined, and it will still get as light as mixing it for a while because you've mixed the butter for a while. So that's always what I do. I mix the butter for like 10-15 minutes, but then as soon as the icing sugar's combined, it's turned off straight away. And I always mix my colours by hand. So like all these colours that I made, they were all by hand, because then it stops like all the air getting into it. And then, like I say, when you smooth it, it's a lot easier. But also it's practice as well. My buttercream is quite soft, which also makes it easier to smooth it. I don't like stiff buttercream, so it just makes your life 10 times harder. And as soon as you put it in the fridge, it goes rock hard anyway, so you don't need to have it really stiff unless it is really, really hot outside, which it's not. But yeah, I think it's just practice. I have been doing it for, I mean, a year doesn't sound like a lot of time, but I have been doing it for like almost a year and a half. So I would say it's practice. Just do more cakes and then you will get better at it. I'm nearly 43 and your evening sounds exhausting, but I'm glad you had an amazing time. You worked so hard, you deserve it. Thank you. We're planning to go next month because it's my sister's birthday. This time we went as like an early birthday for me, and then we're going next month for her, but we're going back again, but we're going to get the train because obviously we didn't know what it was going to be like, but then we realised it's actually a lot of fun, and it is like a nightclub, so you can drink as much as you would in a nightclub. So we thought we'll get the train, and then it means we can drink more. So can you make a cake where somebody hides inside and smashes out of it? I feel like surprising my mum for her birthday. Unfortunately, that would be ridiculously big. You can make a cardboard cake, but you can't make a real one. I know you said you don't use milk or water or anything, so would you just say beating the butter for a while would make it more smooth in the end? By the way, yours looks amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I would say mixing the butter for a lot of time makes it really soft. However, it can't be cold, because if you're using a metal bowl like mine, then it holds the temperature. So basically, if the butter is cold, then you're putting it in a metal bowl, so it's going to stay cold. If you put it in there and it's piping hot, then it will stay piping hot. It's like a flask, basically. So you can't mix your butter when it's cold, because otherwise it's going to be stiff, no matter how long you mix it for. So I leave mine out for the day. So if I'm I was mixing this afternoon and I took out the butter this morning, and then the butter that I used just now, I had mixed kind of like an hour ago, but I took it out at about 3 o'clock. So it meant that I had about 6 hours to soften. And then if it's not soft, then just shove it in the microwave for like 15 minutes. So yeah, we need to melt our drip. So I'm gonna unplug you and then we're gonna go to the microwave. Right, so this will take 2 seconds because it's a white chocolate drip, so it's already basically melted. But this is my last. You guys will be very upset to hear, and I was very shocked when I went into Tesco's today, that they have got rid of white chocolate spread again. And honestly, they need to make their mind up, because it is stressing me out. But there's no chocolate spread in there, like white chocolate spread at all. So I went round there and I was like, oh my God, I'm on my last one. Bearing in mind I use this for all of my cakes. Pretty much all of my drip cakes have a white chocolate drip, whether it's coloured or white. Very, very rare that they have a milk chocolate one. So it's just so much easier than melting chocolate and adding oil, and it's just a nicer drip. So we're going to have to find a new alternative, because Tesco's has discontinued it again, which is really annoying. So that's the update on that. I think she's too chicken to make a cake to spring out of. No, I just imagine how heavy that would be. Like, that would be massive. Like, a 10-inch cake is too heavy for me to carry. And like some 2-tier cakes are too heavy for me to carry. Imagine a cake that I'd actually have to fit inside of. That would be ridiculously big. I could not do that. It wouldn't be possible. And it would also take me hours to make, like too long. So I just don't have the patience for that. My chickens thoroughly enjoyed 48 vanilla cupcakes yesterday. Failed different recipes, and I'm trying to find the right recipe, and it brought me to tears. Oh my God, that sounds painful. Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to feed my chickens cake. I might have to try it as a way to get rid of it without giving it to my parents, because I think they don't want any more cake at this point. They're like, you're giving us too much. So yeah, I might have to try that. We lost 2 of our chickens, so I'm like struggling for eggs recently. I keep having to go out and buy eggs because we don't have as many chickens. Right, I think this needs a little bit longer so that it's a little bit runnier, because we want it to really like drip over the sides. I don't want it to be stiff at all. So I did it for 25 and now I'm going to do it for 15. Did the fox eat them? No, they just died. Yeah, they just died. They were ex-battery hens, so they don't live as long, I don't think, as hybrid hens. We used to have hybrids, which basically lay eggs all year round, whereas normal chickens don't. But then we got these yeah, that's what I meant. I meant that I lost them as in like, yeah, they died. I didn't want to say that they died and be really like morbid, but yeah, we lost 2 chickens, so we no longer have their eggs basically. I think cakes that have people pop out from are dummy cakes, defo not a real cake. Exactly, but imagine how big it would have to be. Imagine how big the dummy cake would have to be. It must be like, I don't know, like 30 inches wide or something ridiculous. I just don't know how I would do that. I've heard of that. So I've got no idea if they're actual cakes. This is a right debate. Max, you've started a right debate on here now. Skinny Food Co. That's the one that I've heard of. So isn't it like a protein chocolate spread? That's what I thought anyway. Where can I put this? Here. So I thought it was a protein one, but does it taste normal? Because I thought maybe it would taste weird. Yeah. I'm gonna head off and stop being annoying. Have a nice evening. Yeah, go and do some work, please. When was the last time you did a fondant cake? I don't do fondant cakes. I hate them. I hate them. So I only do buttercream, and the only time I do fondant is if it's like fondant accents. So like I did a weed cake, so I did like fondant accents on that. I did a unicorn cake, so I did a little rainbow and I made the unicorn, but I don't do anything fondant covered. Also, because no offense, I don't like the look of it. I don't like a fondant cover cake. I don't think it looks as nice as a buttercream cake, so I just tell people that I don't make them because I don't like the way it looks. So that's basically that. I'm just plugging you in. Right, so we're gonna get the cake back out and do the drip now. I've had a lot of Skinny Food chocolate and it tastes the same. Oh, okay. I might have to try it. I have seen it in Tesco's, but I just thought it was a protein one, so I assumed it was going to taste weird. Do you also make desserts? What kind? I make brownies, cakes, and cupcakes pretty much. Cake pops very rarely because I prefer to just make cakes rather than small items because they're more profit. So I prefer to make bigger items, but I don't make like any fancy desserts, if that's what you mean. Literally just cakes, brownies, cupcakes. Right, we're gonna get the cake back out. It actually looks so pretty. Like, I think it looks so pretty. So I'm very excited for her to see this because, like, I hate to say it and offend other people, but she is my favourite customer. She is so lovely, and I honestly love making her cakes because she lets me have like free reign on them, and they're always so different, so it's always really nice. But yeah, I absolutely love it so far. I don't think it's it's lower calorie, but it tastes normal. They do coffee syrups and stuff too. Interesting. Just contains less calories. Love those colours. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I think I'm going to pronounce your name right, Aaliyah. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if it's wrong. Do you use the same recipe for cakes and cupcakes? No. Cupcakes are very, very different recipes. Cupcakes, it's got to make a different size portion, obviously, because they're cupcakes, but also they rise differently. You don't want them to rise the same as a cake because then they can crack. So, like, you know, sometimes on the top of your cake you'll get a crack. I only get it on my chocolate recipe, but you don't want that on your cupcakes. You want them to be like nice and just curved and smooth, no cracks. So I find that whenever I've used a cupcake recipe, you get funny cracks and things on them. So, right, we're just gonna go for it and pour this on here. So it's one of those messy drips, so I'm gonna pour loads and then we're just gonna use the spoon and just push it over the edge. Right, so that is done. Morrison's do a white chocolate hazelnut spread for £2. I have seen that, but it's not very white. Whereas white chocolate spread is very white. Do you use the whole jar for the drip on one cake? I tried to use milk chocolate spread for a drip and it didn't end well. You have to melt it quite a lot, I find, and also that's the front, but I'm not sure I might have to move the front to here because I prefer the drips. No, I don't use a whole jar, but if you're not colouring it, then you don't need to put it into a bowl because then you're going to waste some. So what you do is you melt the jar and then you literally just put it back in the cupboard once you're done, and then it solidifies into a spread, basically. Because otherwise, if you're colouring it and stuff like that, then you will need to put it in a separate thing because you'll be contaminating each time. But if you're not colouring it, then just use it out the jar. Because otherwise, I find I put it in a bowl, and then once I put it in a separate bowl, you can't put it back in because you're mixing spoons and all of that, and it's just like not necessarily hygienic. Whereas this stays in the jar, so nothing is like going in, basically. So yes, I think I'm gonna switch the front to one of these sides. So, I'm going to have the front as here instead because I prefer the drips. It looks great. Where do you get your ideas from? Honestly, like some of them are cakes that people have sent, and then some of them are just random ideas where I just pick various different styles and just put them together. Like this one, it was a rainbow stripe, but we decided to go with like lighter and darker of the two colours because we thought it would look better. How many times can you reheat it? I don't know, if I'm honest. I just do it until it's no longer, kind of sets back into a spread. If it doesn't set back into a spread, then I think it's been reheated way too many times. But as long as it resets, then it should be fine. And also just make sure you're not burning it. And that doesn't mean that it's going to smell burnt, but if you burn it and then it goes like lumpy, then you won't be able to use it again. But as long as you're doing it for like 20-second bursts, you should be fine. So we're basically just going to plonk loads of sweets on the top of here. That's the design that we're going for. So this keeps moving, which is really annoying me. Right. So we have various things. I'm going to move all these piping bags because we can use those a little later for any like in-between bits of piping to just mix into the design. So we've just got giant buttons, milk and white. Then we have rainbow belts because she wanted it to be like sweetie themed. Then we have squashies. So these are the rhubarb and custard ones. She didn't specify on a flavour, so I just picked whatever. I've never actually eaten these because they have gelatin in them, so I don't know what they're like. So that's why I just went for both flavours, because I was like, hopefully she'll like either. Then we have this one, which is cherry and apple. Then we have mini jammy dodgers because I thought it was nice to have a different, like with drip cakes, I always think it's important to have a mix of big items and little items. So this way you can have mini ones. So we have mini ones, and then we've also got big ones so that you can mix and match between the two. And then we have Twix bars. And what's the other thing? And crispy M&Ms. We couldn't get the Parma Violets, so we're leaving those off. I'm using a new sprinkle mix, which I'm very excited for. I've never used it before, hence why it's still in the packet. And it is called Fairground. So that's what it looks like. It's like a range of colours and different sprinkles as well, but it looks really nice. And I will have you know, I'm actually going to try and get Sprinkler UK to sponsor me, because I mention them in every single video. They're the only sprinkles that I use. I own so many different ones, so I'm gonna see if they'll actually like sponsor me or something, because I think I deserve it, honestly, because I mention them so many times. But yeah, so that is that one, and they're all sample packs. I only buy sample packs, so they're 30 grams, because I find that they last for ages, and it means that you can have loads of different sample packs in different styles, because I use a lot of different sprinkles on my cakes. I never just use one, so that way you can have a lot of different ones. You have so much knowledge, Amy, it's awesome. Thank you for your guidance, advice and wisdom with cake decorating. Thank you. I'm gonna wash my hands because we're gonna put the sprinkles on by hand as usual, and then we'll start putting on all of the toppings basically. I also need to make a topper for this, so I will do that tomorrow, because it's not going until 2 p.m. tomorrow, so we have plenty of time. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow, so I won't include that in the live, but yeah, right. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Right. I second that, Natalie. I started my baking business because of Sweet Things. That is so sweet. See if you can get a Sprinkly affiliate code. I'd definitely buy via you. Yeah, like something like that, because I was thinking they get so much promotion from me because I talk about them all the time, and they're the only sprinkle like brand that I use. I used to use quite a few different ones. I used to use Baking Time Club, various other ones, but now they're the only one I use. I occasionally use Tesco's, but I wouldn't class that as a brand because it's like a supermarket, whereas that's the only actual brand that I use, just because they're the ones that I like the most, really. Chocolate fountain chocolate drops contain oil. Already just need to microwave. Okay, I might have to have a look at that. I've never heard of them, but it's definitely something that might work. Thank you. Right, we're literally just going to pile everything on, basically. So I'm just going to stick things where they look good. I think, actually, I need to do the sprinkles first. Don't know where I'm going. So, we're going a little bit light on the white sprinkles because the others are quite colourful. So, I was just using the white pearls, the ones that I always talk about. They literally last years. It's such a small bag, but it lasts so long. And then we're going in with these. So I'm going to put, there's like pastel, what are they called? Rods in there. So I'm going round with those. And there's also some stars in there and pearls as well. I really like the colour scheme of this mix because it's all like pastels, which is perfect for this. Right. Right, I'm going to put a few of the little white ones on the drips on the side, but I'm not going to go too crazy because I'm going to add more in afterwards once we've added the toppings on, because then I can kind of see where we need to add. Right, so that's it for sprinkles for now. We're going to go in with the various different toppings. I'm just going to grab a knife so that I can cut up these chocolates. So this is Twix. I need to attempt to stick these to this drip, but I'm hoping that they don't fall down. Are you doing any Halloween bits this year? I am. I've just added them to my website recently. For postals, I'm only doing the one thing that I did last year just because it's easy for me, especially because I'm busier this year. So it will just make my life a bit easier. But, oh no, don't go over the side. So we're doing the Halloween brownies that I did last year, the postal ones, where it's a box of 4 or 6 and they're Halloween themed, so they're all like little characters basically. So I did like an Einstein one, I did a graveyard, what else? Pumpkin patch, little things like that. But yeah, that's what we're doing this year. So I'm just piling these up basically until they get to the point where they look very loaded. We're on low battery on the iPad, so I've got to switch the chargers over. Yeah, so they were in the vlog last year. That's what's going to be included in this year's. Just because it's something I did before and it's something that went really well. Everyone really liked it, so I thought I'll stick with that for this year. Because yeah, it's something that I know will sell, rather than, because I don't really have the time to make something completely new. And I did like doing those last year because it was different. I didn't see anyone else do anything similar, so I thought it was a good way to go this year. So yeah, we're literally just piling all of these on. So, right. I need to add some more milk chocolate in there, I think. Right, it's starting to get loaded up. It's going to have a lot more than this, but I just need to gradually pile it up. I'm going to use a bit of buttercream as well to stick things down, because this is kind of like the base and then I can stack on top of that. So then I'll use a bit of buttercream to make sure that it actually stays on. Where have I put my knife? So there we go. So what I need to do now, I've got these rainbow laces as well, so I need to add those on somewhere. Right. And then what I'm going to do, don't know where I've put my nozzle. Will that go over that? Please ignore the dogs, they've all just been let out to the toilet, so they're all just coming back in. They got let out the other door in the lounge, but because that's now closed, they're all coming in through here. I need to bear with, I'm letting Cleo out because she's been let in this door. Okay, come on. Here. Right. So, I haven't put this in a new piping bag, I'm just holding it because I shouldn't need to, and it saves using another piping bag. But I'm just going to pipe some bits of buttercream around to fill some gaps. Oh, no, it's coming out the top. That is not good. What can I do with that? Wipe it on here. Alright, try again. So, I needed to use a new. Do you have a coupler you could use? No, because it's not, it would have to be in the piping bag already, if that makes sense. And I was trying to avoid using another piping bag. So yeah, I think if I use that, I would have to actually open another piping bag, pretty sure. Right. Where can we put you? I've done cupcakes, did them today, not sure if they'll do well, but it's my son's first birthday, Halloween week, so hoping if they don't, I've got a party to organise. So kind of hoping they don't, so that God, I can't read, I'm really sorry. Hoping they don't do well, as I've got a party to organise. Got it. I love this, you're so talented. Thank you, Lauren. Did you use, I thought you could use the twisty thing by itself. I don't know if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know whether that would hold if I put that on the piping bag. It might be, I might try it. Do you store your buttercream cakes in the fridge after you've finished decorating them? I always do, but I had some issues with it sweating this week. As long as it's at the right temperature, it shouldn't sweat. Sometimes if it's too cold, it'll sweat, because it's not sweat as in it's too hot, it's condensation sweat. So if your fridge is too cold, then it will get condensation. But what you want to do is, if you're having issues with condensation, then you put it in a box, because what the box does is the cardboard will absorb all of the moisture in the air, and then it means that you won't have that moisture going onto your cake. So that's how you get around that. I only learnt that like quite a little bit into actually baking cakes, but yes, the moisture will be collected by the box. So then it means that you shouldn't end up with it all over your cake. I'm just trying different things with this. I'm doing like some where they're like wrapped up, and then some actual like belts as well. And I'm just cutting them with scissors to get different sizes. The only thing about this is sugar gets everywhere. The sugar from the belts. And then these will also be going on the board, but for now, we're just doing the top. And then I'm going to weave some in between. Right, oh, I've got buttercream all over that. Oh, he's called Theodore. That is such a lovely name. And Quinton. I love the name Quinton because it can be shortened to Quinn, and I really like that. But yeah, I love his first and second name. Well, middle name, but you know what I mean. They're so nice. Right. We're starting to get a bit of height now. Starting to actually stack bits on top. What else do I need to be putting on here? I think we need, I don't know, I'm trying to decide what to put where, basically. I need a few more bits of buttercream. So that nozzle cannot be used. Right. Oh, we're swallowing. Right. I did a navy cake this week and it came out very sweaty and made the food colouring stain fingers and lips. It was for your son, so it wasn't a huge issue, but I have a black cake to do for next weekend. I would say try and get the buttercream as dark as possible before adding any colour. So for instance, I would do chocolate buttercream if possible. So I always recommend, if people are ordering a black cake, they go for chocolate. If they don't, then you want to be investing in some very good colouring. Anything like, even you can mix Colour Splash with other more expensive ones, either Sugar Flare or what is it, Colour Mill, because I find that they're a lot more pigmented, so then you don't have to use as much, and then it won't in turn stain anyone. But it's very, very difficult to do cakes like that when they aren't chocolate flavoured, because that gives you a bit of a hand, because you can make it a lot darker than it would normally be by adding cocoa powder. So I would say if it's not chocolate, then you want to be getting a good buttercream colouring. What do you do with the leftover sweets like squashies, as you don't eat them due to gelatin? Anything that is left over, like I rarely touch this chocolate drawer, which is in front of me. It is purely like a work drawer. So what I do is anything that is open, I just like sellotape up, or like you can fold it up so that it's sealed and like put an elastic band around it. And then you just got to keep an eye on the dates. I don't buy new chocolates for every cake. A lot of the time I have leftovers from the previous one, which is why I don't do what everyone else typically does, where they charge based on the chocolates that go on. I charge included in the price for chocolates, because if you charge per packet, I'm not going to use every packet and I'm not going to finish them all. So it's more beneficial for the customer and like more like price friendly to not charge for every single packet. Otherwise it would make my cakes even more expensive than they already are. So I just include it. Do the biscuits go soft? I find that they don't, but I think it's because they're kept in the fridge. And they do usually have a box over them overnight, so the cake goes in a box, so then all the moisture can't get onto it. So again, I don't think they do. I mean, I've had biscuits. I think I had biscuits on one of my birthday cakes or one of my family's, so I could like test it out. It was a Biscoff cake and the biscuits didn't go soft. So I think it depends on like how they're left out and how they're stored. But yeah, I've never had any issues, but I do hear about people saying that they have had issues. Right, I'm going to save a couple of these toppings for the board. Add some little bits here and there. I'm going to add a little bit of Milky Bar just because I feel like it's a good mix, if that makes sense, with this like combo that we've got going on. It wasn't on the list of things, but she did say like if you want to add anything that is personal preference to make like to go with the theme, then do, just because I think there's a few spaces where it might look nice to have those bigger squares of white chocolate, it just balances out all the different ones. That's why a lot of the time I use things like buttons, because it just evens out the design basically. Otherwise it can be a lot of one thing and not so much of the other, so just balances it out. And then we're going to add a bit there. I need a little bit of buttercream to stick it down. There we go. So that's what it looks like. And then we're going to cover the board now. So, and then we'll add some gold luster, stuff like that. What I'm going to do while I put some stuff in piping bags, because these piping bags won't have nozzles on, so I'll need some more. I'm just going to shove this in the fridge for 5 minutes, just so that it can all set a little bit. them here. Oh, I saw that navy cake. Now that Natalie said, I saw it on your page. It looked really nice. I remember seeing that. The cake is looking amazing, Amy. Thank you. We are almost done. And it's 10:20, so fingers crossed I should be done in like 10-15 minutes. And then it means that I can make the topper tomorrow and we will be ready to go to bed. Then I can get in bed and just watch YouTube because I have got so much to catch up on YouTube. I'm doing a terrible job of cutting a hole in this piping bag. Right. Nozzle. What are you? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the leftover that's in the bowl because it's all mixed together. So it means that I'm going to have some light pink, some dark pink, some light purple, some dark purple, but I'm not going to mix it. I'm just going to actually put it in the piping bag so that it means that it will be like an ombre kind of effect. And this is just for going over the board. And then we will use the other packets of leftover that we got here and apply that in the gaps. So and then I'm going to take the ones that don't have very much because some of them have very, very little, so it's not much point leaving that in there. There we go. Right, I need to wash my hands. I think my tea's gone cold. My mum made me a tea at the start of this live and it's been 70 minutes, so it is very cold, very, very cold, but it's still good. What do you end up doing with leftover buttercream? I always have loads left over when I'm making cakes and I hate throwing away food. I am exactly the same. I hate wastage. However, there are certain times when cakes are wasteful, but at the same time, the way I think about it is obviously I've been paid to make the cake, so as bad as that sounds, if there is some wastage, it's not necessarily being wasted, if that makes sense, because it's been paid for. I do try and avoid it as much as possible, but there is a lot of times where buttercream, it's like, what are you going to use that for? Unless you have other cake that you can ice, then you're not going to be able to use it. I've got some chocolate buttercream that I saved, and I saved it in the fridge, and I haven't used it and it's been a week, and I was like, I need to take it out. So yeah, I think you can. I've heard about people freezing buttercream. I don't know if you can do that. But yeah, some people make it in advance and use it on other cakes. So I think if you're using it within the week and it's got no milk or anything in it, then you can keep it. But most of the time I either throw mine away or I make a plain flavour, so I don't add any flavouring to it, and I make a big bowl of that. And then it means that when there's someone at my front door, it means that when I say I make a cake tomorrow, it means that I can then use it to ice that as well. So it just depends on what you're making, really. I think my sister's come to get her dog because she was out for the day. But yeah, most of the time it gets wasted, if I'm honest. The cake looks so cute. Thank you. It looks really good, very colourful. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Where'd you get those bags from? They are massive. Amazon. They're just industrial piping bags. If you type in blue industrial piping bags, they should come up. I saw someone on TikTok who froze their leftovers. Also saw someone who collected all the leftovers from their cake, then added cocoa powder to it to make chocolate buttercream. I saw that. I saw that as well, about the chocolate buttercream. However, what do you then do with the chocolate buttercream? Like, if you don't need, like, if I have coloured buttercream, then you can mix it together and make chocolate. But what if you don't need chocolate? That's my problem. Like, what if you still don't need it? I think this is one of my fave cakes of yours. It's so pretty. Thank you. I make my buttercream in a batch and put it in an airtight container and freeze. See? Jilly knows what she's doing. I might have to try it. And then I can like scoop some out as and when I need. So yeah, I think I'm going to try that. Right. Our mix bag is ready for the board. And then we've got these two little ones of light purple and dark pink, which we're going to just hold the nozzle on and pipe because they're already cut bags. So just makes my life easier. Right. So get the cake back out. So, as usual, just pipe as random as you would like until the board is covered. Oh, this looks so cute. I don't know if you can see, but because it's ombre, it's like a mix of pink and purple there, which looks really cool. And there, which I think looks really... I'll give you a close-up at the end, but... You squint chocolate, you squirt. Did you mean squirt? Yeah, you did. Directly into your mouth. God. Verity, what are you playing at? Right. Now I'm going to go in with singular colours just to fill the gaps. Oh no, we're overflowing. I'm having a right mare with this nozzle. Don't know where I've put the other one. Hi Amy, cake looking great. How have you not got buttercream all over you? I always end up making such a mess around the kitchen. Looks like a bomb's hit me by the end. I mean, trust me, in front of me, what you can't see, like down here, is an absolute pigsty. And over by the sink, there is a massive pile of washing up, which I'm not looking forward to doing. And I will be doing tomorrow morning because I don't want to do it now. But the thing with like outfits, I find that I don't get buttercream on them, however I get food colouring on them. All of my hoodies that are merchandise, that, you know, like all the merch I made, every single one of them, apart from the new merch, has food colouring on it, and it's where I splatter food colouring on myself, and it's really annoying because half of them are white, so they've got like blue food colouring on them or whatever, and they look really dirty when they're not. But yeah, I find I don't really get anything else on me apart from food colouring, so yeah. But luckily I haven't got it on the new ones yet, I don't think, so fingers crossed I managed to keep that up. Just a warning though, once you defrost it, you cannot refreeze. That is absolutely fine. Maybe I do it in small tubs and then I can defrost a small tub in whole rather than the big tub and maybe risk not using it. You can store buttercream in the fridge until the expiry on your butter as long as there's no milk. Okay, very good point, thank you, because I just assumed that maybe like, I don't know, a week. I was like, I feel like I shouldn't keep it in longer than that, so then I wouldn't. But what I'm gonna do is put it in little storage boxes, and then it will be easier for me to, because I find that it's harder to bring it back to room temperature when it's a big bowl of buttercream. So what I might do is put it in lots of little bowls, and then it means it'll be easier for me to like warm it back up. Last little bit. Very excited about that. I can't wait for her to see it. I love it. I think it is the cutest cake I've made. It's kind of on par with the rainbow one I did that had the little unicorn, because I do think that that was really cute as well. But this is very much my favourite, I think. Right, that's all we're doing for buttercream. So buttercream is done. They can all go in there. Now we are just covering this board with treats. I'm looking forward. That's the one thing I will be doing, is any leftovers of these rainbow laces. They are my favourite thing in the world. I'm not really that big of a biscuit eater, but I love like sweets. And I can eat these because they're vegetarian, whereas not many sweets are. A lot of sweets contain gelatin, so they're the one thing that I can eat. So I will definitely be eating the leftovers of those. Maybe you could make your splodges of food colouring into merch hoodie. Lots of different coloured splats all over. That would look so cool. That's a really good idea. You know what I could do? It would be inspired by food colouring, but maybe I do, what do you call it? Like I get dye, so like I can use actual dye, which will stay in the hoodies. I mean, food colouring stains anyway, but you would hope that dye would stay also. And then maybe I can like dye them, but I can do it in a random way so that it is merchandise and like it's meant to be like splatters, but it's dye rather than food colouring. Tie-dye. Yeah, kind of like tie-dye, but smaller. You know, like how tie-dye is very big splotches. Like, along with the food colouring theme, I'm thinking like small splotches rather than big ones. But just using dye instead of food colouring, because one, that might be quite expensive with food colouring, because half of the ones that are stained badly is colour mill, which I think is probably because it's such a strong food colouring that it stains very well, which is really annoying. But yeah, so that is a very good idea, Verity. Thank you for that. I may take you up on that if I manage to get around to it, but yeah, that is a very good idea. So I think I'm going to try and recreate that somehow. Right. We are just covering the board until we are happy with it. We're going to go mini jammy dodgers. Ooh, there's a big gap here. fill that gap. What could I put? You could make face masks with the same fabric you use for your scrunchies. I'd defo buy them. That's a very good idea again. Thank you guys. Yes, I did think about doing that. So, and it means that for those of us that still wear face masks, you can have one that is Sweet Things themed, which we love. So, I've had loads of compliments on my new enamel pin. If you get hold of any other cakey themed ones, I'll definitely buy. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I love the little sloth. I've drawn it up as a design for either prints or like merchandise. So I've drawn it up so that I can then print it on stuff. So there may be other little sloth themed bits coming as well. Because I think that little sloth is just the cutest thing ever. Where can I put you? Right. Need to fill that gap with something. What else have we got? Buttons. Sprinkly face mask, I want one. Yeah, I love those fabrics because like I love a hairband, but a lot of the time scrunchies I could never find ones which were the right like length, if that makes sense. So I like scrunchies that are like extra large so that there's lots of fabric spare, and no one really does those, like unless you actually order it online. So I could never find any that were like XL, like really scrunchies. So that's why I thought I'll just make my own. Because there's someone that does them in Canada and she's like, her stuff is amazing and she's really big, but she's in Canada, so I'd have to order them from Canada. And she also doesn't do like cake fabric, she just does like her style. So that's why I was like, well, I'll make them here because no one does them here. The next person is Australia, so there's no XXL scrunchies in England as far as I'm aware. So that's why I thought I needed to bring them, because it's something that I like wearing, but no one does it here. It's still law in Scotland. I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, I wear it as and when. Don't wear it all the time, but it depends where I'm going, if I'm completely honest. Certain situations I do wear them, certain ones I don't. Yeah, it just depends. Some of them obviously it is required, and then other places it isn't. Are there any gaps I need to fill? No. So we're gonna add a bit of sparkle. Right, we're using Cake Decorating, what is it called? Luster. And I've got the pink and the gold Cake Decor. So I get this from the range or B&M, and we're just gonna do a mix. I always find you have to shake it loads. Oh, we just knocked him on the floor. The glitter is going everywhere. I love this cake. I'm just adding some more sprinkles because obviously where we've put so many toppings on, oh no, where we put so many toppings on, you obviously lose those sprinkles that you put on. But I like to do them as a base because then it means that they'll peep through any holes, which is always nice. But we need to go back in and add some in places. I'm just going to add a few to the board as well. Right, I think we're done. I think we're done, guys. So, I will lift it up because, like I say, this section is an absolute mess. So, I always have to do this, like pull it to the edge, because they get to a point where they're heavy, so I can't actually like get them off of the turntable. Do you make aprons? I don't yet, but I'm hoping to bring them out soon because I brought the tote bags out, so I'm hoping that I can get aprons too. So I'm hoping that with the lighting you can see that, but that is what the top looks like. And then here's all around the board. So yeah, and then we've got some M&Ms stuck down the side. Yeah, various like belts. I'm really tempted to add some more, but I need to stop just because it's meant to look very overloaded, so I wanted it to look very big. But yes, that is how it looks. But I think everything is like noticeable. I tried to make sure that everything was noticeable, like every topping there was something visible so that it looked balanced, like it's overloaded but it still looks like there's the same amount of everything. So yes, and then we've got sprinkles in there in the gaps, and then that's the back. So yeah, you came back at the right time. Yeah, you did. We're just showing off the finished. So this is what it looked like, and yeah, so that's all the top. I don't know if you can actually see how glittery it is. I might have to turn you around for that, but yeah, it's very glittery now. So what I'm going to do is I'll move it onto the table over there, and then I'll move you guys so that you can see. Right, make sure not to drop it. Right, I'm just putting it on the table. Right, let me lift you up. Right, so I need to try and figure out how to turn this around whilst, I don't normally turn it around whilst on live. Right, here we go. So, that is the front here. So you can see the like contrast in the stripes. And then that's the top. So I think you can see the sparkles a bit better now. But yeah, we've got squashies, Milky Bar, Jammy Dodgers, rainbow belts, M&Ms, chocolate buttons. I think that's everything, and Twix as well. So, and then this is just a little panoramic of the sides. So yeah, that is what it looks like. So, put you back over here whilst I put it back in the fridge. What happens to the leftovers? They go back in the drawer. They do not get eaten. So a bit like these, there's loads left in there. So I literally just fold it over and elastic band it. Because one, I can't eat those anyway because I've got gelatin in, but even if I could, it just means that I'm not going to have them. So I prefer to buy my own sweets rather than like to dip into these, because then I find that when I go and need something, I'm like, oh, I've eaten that. So I no longer have it left. But yeah, and I'm not really much of a sweet person. Usually when I eat sweets, it makes me feel sick. So I always go for savoury stuff like biscuits and crisps. Crisps are my favourite. Right, so I need to put this in the fridge. Right, we are finished. I need a cup of tea and to go to bed because I'm so tired. So, are there any last minute questions before we log off? I am so tired and I'm going to leave the washing up till tomorrow, but I'm going to tidy up this section in front of me, like just make it look a bit tidier than it currently does, because there is like wrappers everywhere because there's so many sweets used on this cake that there's just stuff everywhere. So I'm going to start to do that, and like I say, if anyone has any last minute questions, just fire away and then I'll answer them before I finish. Have you ever used the PME luster spray? I haven't. I didn't even know that they did one. I don't think. All of my other ones. Oh no, I have. I lied. I have. So I've used this one. It is really, really good. I would recommend it. However, I would say that you would use it. I haven't used it for the outside of a cake, but I've seen people do that because then it's seamless. And I've personally used it for fondant. So for my niece's cake last year, she had a princess theme cake. So it was like a little tiara and she had like a little wand. You know, like those little ones that kids have where it's like a star and then it's got a bit of ribbon. I made that out of fondant. So then I had to spray that and the tiara gold. So I used this and it was really, really good. This is gold, but it's a very orangey gold. So if you want more of a champagne, you might have to either use a different brand, or I don't know if you can get like a champagne gold, but I just found that this was very, very gold. Considering I've used others that aren't as like orangey. But these I also recommend, which is these powder colours, like lusters, which are rainbow dust. They're also very, very good if you need to dust things. But I prefer using the spray, like that little bottle for the cake decor one, because it's more light, whereas this is very heavy and like not opaque at all. Where do you go to learn do much? Am I reading that wrong? Or is there a spelling mistake, Natalie? It might be me reading it wrong. I'm very, very tired. I want it to spray the bottom tier of a black and gold cake with buttercream. I think that should work. What I would do is I would Google the brand. So I would type in PME luster spray for a buttercream cake and literally just type that in, and then there will probably be someone that has used it to spray their cake, and then you can see how it looks. But that's usually what I do. with stuff like that. I just literally Google it or put it into YouTube, and there's usually someone that's done it. Right. I'm just making this space look a little bit tidier because it's depressing how messy a space can get when you're decorating. Right. So much. Where do you go to learn so much? What do you mean, just like my skill? I haven't done any like lessons or anything. I honestly just wing it every time and then hope that it goes well, but that's just, I think that's down to personality. I prefer to wing things. I don't usually plan things that much, which is probably bad, but I prefer just to try things out and see how they go, like trial and error basically. Bit off topic, but I'm not sure what to be for Halloween. What are you going to be if you do it? We don't do like Halloween trick-or-treating type thing, but we do go to Thorpe Park for Fright Night. And I really like special effects, like the makeup. So I usually do everyone's makeup. So last year I did zombie makeup, and the year before I did the same, but I changed it. So I wore contacts and they were like cloudy. So I don't know if you like things like Walking Dead, that kind of thing. They've all got like the cloudy eyes, and it's a full eye contact. So I wear those. You basically can't see in them. I only wear one because otherwise you are basically blind. But they are really, really cool. And I just did like a gash on my eye, and I'm probably going to do something similar this year, but try and like switch it somehow. But yeah, I usually go for something like that because then it means I can wear those contacts and I really like them, because people get really freaked out. Whenever we go to Thorpe Park, there's always people in the queue and they're like, do you think she can see me? And then I just stare at them to try and freak them out. And people always used to come up to me and be like, oh, are you an actor? Because like your outfit's really good, stuff like that. But yeah, I just like dressing up for Halloween. So I will probably do a video on that when we get round to Halloween. It will be a non-baking related one, but when I do everyone's makeup I might do a video to show you guys, because it's really fun. I absolutely love it. You've got so much knowledge about do's and don'ts. Honestly, why do you think I've got so much knowledge on it? Because it's trial and error, and I'm going, right, definitely don't do that. Wouldn't recommend, because it's not the way you should do it. But yeah, it's just, like I say, trial and error. Try something. If it doesn't go right, then try something different. Obviously, that can sometimes waste time. So it depends what kind of situation you're in, whether you have the time to be trying things out. But I mean, I spent my first like good few months of the business just trying out loads of different things, and then I just got used to what worked and what didn't. It took me until like January this year, so the first like 6 months was just a lot of trial and error, where I'd be doing various random things, and then eventually something clicked, and then this January I was like, right, it seems to be going my way now. And yeah, I just picked up on stuff a lot quicker. I think it just depends. I think part of it is mindset, but half of it was I'd done a lot more practice up to that point as well. But like I say, I think it just takes a lot of practice. But this just shows you that you don't have to do any fancy courses to learn how to do it, because you can do it by just putting in a lot of hours of work, basically. So, we're not very tidy, but we're all right. Rubbish. Pure rubbish. We are almost there. Just making it look a little bit more presentable. I need to wash all these tea towels. Thank you, Amy, for a fabulous live. Thank you. I'm just having a hard time finding recipes that I think are good enough. Again, with the recipes, you want to look at reviews before you try anything, because a lot of the time people will say whether it's a bad recipe, and then you will find, and everyone always says this, but everyone always says that you will have to change a recipe. It will never be perfect. All of the bakers that I've spoken to have always had to change it because they're never going to work out the way you want them to. A lot of the time there are things that are wrong with the recipe. I've tried so many renowned ones and there've always been something wrong with them. So as much as people are like, oh, I love this recipe, whenever I try it, there's always something wrong with it. So I would say that you've got to try it for yourself, and then if there's things that you don't like, then just change them, and then it becomes your recipe because you've then rewritten it basically. I use the weighed egg method for my sponges and they seem to come out great every time. Hope that helps. I've heard a lot about that. I have never tried it, mainly because I'm too scared, and also because my cakes seem to come out perfectly fine as it is, so I'm too scared to change it, just in case if I went to the weighing egg method, it would ruin it. But like I say, if it works for you, then definitely do that. Really important questions, Max, thank you. What was I going to say? I was going to say something, but you've thrown me off now. Feet for hands or hands for feet? Hands for feet, because then your hands would still be normal. I wouldn't want to have feet as hands because then everyone's going to see that. Whereas you could hide it if they were your feet. Right, I'm going to shove all this stuff in the bin and then we're pretty much tidy, and I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit, not very much because I can't really, because it's still got stuff, this worktop still has loads of stuff on it, but then I'll come back and sort it all out in the morning because this is boring for you guys, so you don't want to see me tidying up. Take that spoon out of there. So hands for feet for me, defo, exactly, because then you can hide it. No one will know that you've got hands for feet, whereas the other way around, it's like you don't want anyone to see. But yeah, right, I don't have the hands to turn this off yet, so I'll have to come back, so bear with me. Right, I'm back. So, then you'd have to go to a mani-mani instead of a mani-pedi. That is the best thing I've heard all day. Verity, you are so funny. But you could do a good handstand if you had feet on your hands. Yeah, but that's not something that I worry about on a daily basis, I think. You use your hands for a lot of stuff. You only use your feet to walk, but you can walk on all fours using your hands and your feet. So you could then still walk if you had hands for feet, because you can walk on your hands. So I think it has to be hands for feet, I think, because it's more useful, in my opinion. Because then you could use both your hands and your feet to do stuff. We'd all be wasted in this profession, literally. Like, if you had 4 hands, imagine how much you could get done. It would be amazing. So definitely 2 pairs of hands, please. Right, just spraying the sides. This thing always gets clogged up. As much as I love this spray, because it is food safe, which is, you know, what we have to do, it clogs up and then it doesn't come out, which is really annoying. Right, I am going to love you and leave you because I need to wipe this counter down, then I'm going to bed. So imagine who you could do with 2 pairs of hands. I'm lowering the tone. I better leave. Good night. Oh, Verity, you're so funny. This chat is crazy. Blame Max for that. You can blame Max for the very important questions that we're asking today. Right, I've got to go because it has just turned 11 and I said I'd be done by 10:30. So we're already late, but I hope you guys enjoyed and I will see you in my next video. There will be a new video up on Tuesday, so make sure to subscribe for that. And I'm hoping that I get a podcast up tomorrow, but we know what's going on with the podcast. I just don't have time to do it at the minute, so I'm really trying. So I will try and get one up tomorrow. It might just be a shorter one. So yeah, I will let you know on my Instagram. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and I will see you later.